talking about players who are stepping up and doing really well at the moment is Bergval. A lot of people praising Bergval for his performance on Saturday against Ipswich, the way he controlled that midfield. But the way he's come on since breaking into the team has been brilliant. But I guess the question is he now in our first choice 11? Is he nailed down is he in that first choice midfield 3? Has he nailed down that spot? Like if we played a Europa League final tomorrow, is he starting in that midfield for you? What do you think, Josh? Is he now in our first choice 11?
It depends. It depends because a fully fit, in-form Kulusevski in the middle with Maddison and then either Basuma or Bentancur is still when we've played some of the best football. Early in the season, we were playing two creative 8s or 10s, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I still think that's the best football that we've played this season. But generally now, with the way the squad is, if you're asking me between him, Bentancur, and Basuma, who do you prefer? It's definitely him. I think he has made it even more clear that we can sell both Bentancur and Basuma and look to replace them because he's better than both of them. And I'm just so impressed with him. I can't believe this guy's 19, man. He's so good.
18, oh, is he 18?
He's just turned 19.
Oh, he's just turned 19.
Yeah, most of the games he's played for us, he has been 18. So, yeah. Glides around the pitch, can do a bit of everything. He's even more... I feel like he's harder to push off the ball than Bentancur. Who's like an actual man. Do you know what I mean? Bergval doesn't even look like a man to me. Do you know what I mean? He looks young. But, yeah, he can do a bit of everything. I don't think he is... I'd like to see him given a little bit less responsibility sometimes in that midfield. Maybe if we're trying to rest Kulu and stuff, make Bergval the most advanced midfielder. Because the one thing, which he's not going to have everything at this age, but is when we do play him deeper, I do think he has a problem picking up runs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You'd expect that from someone that's 18. Do you know what I mean? So he's still probably better at it than Basuma and Bentancur. And he's just, in answer to your question, yes, he's definitely a member of the first team now. He'd be in my starting lineup with our current players. And I can't wait to see. I'm already thinking, how many years has he got in his contract? Because I'm getting worried.
Well, it does. When it comes to our starting 11, though, it does get a bit awkward when you think about how do we fit Decky, Maddison, and Bergwijn all in the same midfield when they all want to be central.
Don't we need to move away from that conversation about starting 11? We need a squad, and that's what he brings to us. He brings an unbelievable option. And when you're talking about in the 10, in the 8, in the 6, I actually think he plays his best football when he is assuming that kind of responsibility. That's when he's taken that game by the scruff of the neck, when he's driving through that midfield, when he's putting in those challenges. I actually feel he's played better in those kind of games and then in a few games where he's played it as a 10, because I don't think he's got the chance creation ability on a consistent basis like a Kulu or like a Maddison. So I think he's better a bit deeper.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think his best work, from what I've seen, comes in the centre of the park rather than kind of in the final third. But maybe it's because he hasn't kind of been there enough to show what he's capable of. But from what I've seen from him, haven't seen too many, chance creation or goal shots on goal, things like that when he's in the final third. But I think that's maybe because by and large he has been playing in the 8 or even in the 6, especially during this injury crisis. I think near the beginning of the season, I think he was kind of playing in the 10 in a few games, but kind of haven't maybe seen the best of him in that position. But it doesn't mean he can't grow into that game in that position, because he's got unbelievable skills. And you saw that skill he did on Saturday, the ball roll and the flick. I think that nutmegged one of the players. Wow, how he can just do that within a second. So instinctive. And this guy has got unbelievable talent. And I think for me, he is in our best. He's above Sarr. He has to be above Sarr in that number 8 role. The only problem is, the only problem is when we're playing our best team, how do you fit a Maddison and a Day? Like if we've got our best team in a game that we know we need to win, and you want to go with your best 11, how can you fit Bergal, Maddison, and Decky there without putting Decky on the right if he doesn't want to be on the right? Could you? Is it conceivable, Josh? You could see a midfield of Bergal, Decky, and Maddison in the middle three.
No, I don't.
No.
Think. And this it's so funny. Ben tells you like we have to get away from this, and then you still go back to it. Like, how can
I think it's a conversation to have.
Well, look, the answer to me is straight away in this situation, I'd bench Decky because he's not fit enough. He's not. Say they're all fully fit and firing, then yeah, it's a squad game. The boy's 19. He can sit it out sometimes, and also. There's a conversation.
Let's say it's a final. Let's say it's a Europa League final. You want your best 11 there. Yeah. How do you fit those three into the team? Do you have to just put Decky on the right?
Ooh. Who would your Europa League final starting lineup be?
You know what I mean?
I think Bergal would be on the bench in the Europa League final.
Yeah.
But I think when you're playing against a low block, I don't see a reason. Like if a team's coming out and camping at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I don't see a reason why we can't play that middle three.
So we're playing Jose's Fenerbahce in a Europa League final.
Get Bergal on the pitch.
No, you need. This is
what.
Are
there any games we could play that, Josh? Bergal, Maddison, Decky. You don't trust in any game.
No, because
this against a low block.
No, because that's what I'm saying. Bergvall's biggest. Weakness is if you watch him tracking runners, like he doesn't track runners. He's brilliant defensively, as in like he's very physical. He's good in duels, but he doesn't have any defensive awareness, and he shouldn't be expected to. He's not. He's young, and he's not really an out and out monster defensive six, is he? So you can't play him there because if you're playing against low blocks, even though you're going to have a lot of the ball. Who's going to break up the counterattacks? Do you know what I mean? Because Maddison ain't doing it, Decky ain't doing it, and Bergvall can't do it. So what I meant by I want to see him given less responsibility is because I don't trust any of our sixes to do their job behind him. So when you're playing him, I'd rather him be... I'll meet in the middle. Maybe he shouldn't be the 10. You guys are right. But he has to be the most advanced 8. And what I'm seeing right now, like in this Ipswich game, is, and this is just because Bentancur's all over the place, by the way, I'm sorry. But like, I did see Bergvall doing a lot of the like, being the least advanced midfielder sometimes, because we haven't got a six that just sits there. So for him to, if you buy a monster 6 that can play with him next season, you watch what he does. Like it'll be scary. For the rest of the league, honestly.
All right, so yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't know if we could play Bergval in a 6 next to both Maddison and Decky. I think you could potentially with someone like Assar potentially, who Assar in form anyway. But I don't know right now. I kind of agree with Josh. Like. I don't know if he's disciplined yet enough. He's still kind of running all over the place and chasing people. And sometimes that comes with experience, knowing where to be, knowing how to sniff out that danger. I don't know if he has that yet. I think when you see him competing in these duels and winning tackles, I think it's just literally his eyes drawn to the ball. He sees that opposition player has it and he's like, I'm just going to go grab it. But sometimes defending, especially being defensive midfielders, is so much more than that. It's about knowing where to be. It's about knowing where the danger's coming from, where people are running, how to pass people off to other people when there's runners, all these different things. And I think we've seen him struggle in that aspect. I think you look at the Villa goal in the first minute, he was a big culprit of that, to be honest. And even if look at the first minute against Ipswich, he was fairly big culprit of that as well. We lost Josh? He's still there?
Yeah,
he's still there. Sorry, so you're just very, very still. Okay.
This conversation about Bergval, right, is a great conversation in terms of the squad to have. But this same conversation about Bergval can be had about Spence, and it could also be had about Archie Gray right now as well, because Archie Gray has, he's come under a bit of like the first 10, 15 minutes against Ipswich and a few other games. He's looked a bit out of sorts at centre back, but the talent that he has, and what he's shown for us during this injury crisis, he's been absolutely brilliant for us. He's played himself into the reckoning. And Jed Spence, like when you've got both fullbacks fit, who's our first starting fullbacks? You know what I mean? So I think we've got a few players like this now.
Yeah, agreed. I think Spence has been better than Udogie so far this season, so I think he's got to be first choice, even when Udogie's been fit. I actually thought Udogie looked quite good on Saturday, but I think Spence is still, right now, playing better than Udogie was early in the season. And I think Porro... Yeah, Porro... Look, I think definitely Porro's... position could be up for grabs, but I also just feel like he's a bit like similar to in a Trent in a way that he just offers that something different, which could be so valuable. That quality with that passing range, which we just don't have at fullback. Like we don't have that kind of ability in that position. And if we get it right, if we use him right, like that could be such an asset, which could be a bit of an X factor.